on the quarterback and respond when the ball's in the air.
Double tight ends. Massey and Mannion in there for Tech. First and goal from the 3. Pitch to Corey Collier. Collier gets to about the 1.5-yard line on second effort. He was hit back there about the 5. Tackle Aaron Chubb. We're going to pause 5 seconds to allow our local stations to identify themselves.
You're watching Superstation WTBS, Atlanta.
Just outside the 1-yard line. Let's call it second and goal from the 1.
Collier and Mays both pack quite a punch in that compact frame that they have.
The power offense in there. 3 tight ends for Georgia Tech. Penalty marker down. Touchdown, Malcolm King. Let's hold it for a moment. By the jubilation on the face of Tech, the call is against Georgia. Offsides. Touchdown stands, and the Yellow Jackets lead 6-0 with 2:46 to go in the quarter. An 83-yard drive against Georgia. And Tim, you said before the ball game that you thought that the passing game would be effective for obvious reasons against Georgia with the injuries to the secondary, and that's exactly what's happened here.
That's what happened there, but that, as we mentioned, that wasn't necessarily a physical mistake. It was more of a mental error on the part of Miles Smith, or a mix-up in the coverage. And you saw Bill Curry, you saw that emotion. He tries to look real composed and calm all the time, but the fire is burning in there.
Point after, but David Bell is good. Georgia Tech leads 7-0. Here's the touchdown run again.
Probably felt like Gary Moss was offside there. Brantley scraping. Malcolm King breaks the tackle of John Brantley and carries it into the end zone.
His 4th touchdown rushing on the season. Tech leads 7-0. This is Super Football Saturday on TNT.
Scrape off like that. He got his feet caught up. Really didn't have a chance to explode into Malcolm King, and King drags John Little into the end zone.
Malcolm King, the junior from Americus, Georgia, just 5'9", part of that microchip backfield. For those of you, as you look at the scoring drive there, of course, the key play was the 45-yard pass from Strom to Gary Lee. When we talk about the microchip backfield, of course, for Georgia Tech's engineers, that's where the term chip comes from. The micros come from Mays being 5'8", King being 5'9", and Collier being only 5'7".
And Malcolm King carried the load last year in the All-American Bowl. We saw him rush for 122 yards and 2 touchdowns against Michigan State.
Freddie Lane and Nate Lewis are back for Georgia. Lane is 4. Nate Lewis is 8. Over the kickoff. From the 40, because of the offsides penalty against Georgia that is tagged on. Lewis, indecisive, decides late to run it out and does get it to the 19-yard line. So he doesn't pay much for his indecision. And here is Wayne Johnson, the Georgia quarterback who came in and played last week, 2 weeks ago against Auburn, when James Jackson, who had had a death in the family and also had been playing off an injury, couldn't play in the ball game. And Johnson, the sophomore, played spectacularly.
He played with poise. I think that's what Vince Dooley liked to see. And Jackson has been bothered with that ankle since South Carolina.
Vince Dooley said he does expect to play James Jackson in this game at some point. Handoff, Henderson stopped after a gain of 1 yard. Tate and Henderson combining in the backfield. Tate's the swing man. He can play fullback or tailback. And Kyle Ambrose, a member of the Black Watch, number 90.
To call Kyle Ambrose Mr. Easy. Played a little bit last year, but has really developed. Larry New, the defensive line coach, said that this has been one of the most gratifying years of his coaching career because of the progress that people like Kyle Ambrose have made.
Georgia second down 9 from the 20. 2:10 to go. Quarter number 1. Tech lead 7-0. Johnson. Left side. Tate hitting his tracks. Thrown for a loss. Number 35. First man there. Mark White. The right inside linebacker. The sophomore.
Both these teams very well prepared defensively. As Bill Curry looks on, he knows that Georgia probably runs the screen as well as anybody in college football today. And Mark White played that play to perfection. Was there. He beat Keith Johnson, who was coming out there to block him, and made the stop.
Clock down to 1:35 remaining in the first quarter. 3rd down 10, Georgia. Georgia not able to pop the running play early as we thought they might against the Yellow Jackets. Play fake to Tate. Johnson. Incomplete, looking for John Thomas. And And the Bulldogs will have to punt it away again. And James Jackson, we'll expect to see him a little later. He's the 5'11" small quarterback with the great sprint out speed. Johnson's the long drink of water 6'4" pocket passer. Ricardo Ingram goes back. I told you he's second in the nation in punt return yardage. Georgia excellent at stopping the punt return, as you showed you last time.
And Ingram is a starting right fielder for Georgia Tech's ACC championship baseball team. Hit .308 last year. And
both these guys met each other. Chris Carpenter, a pitcher for Georgia. Ingram at the 35. Oh, he's an exciting player. That's a dangerous move to vault into the air there. Out to the 47, tackled by 54, Vince Guthrie. 46-yard punt, 12-yard return. 1:09 to go, first quarter. Up near this campus and really thought he might become a Bulldog instead of a Yellow Jacket. He told us about it prior to today's game.
Well, when I first started going to college football games, they were right here in Sanford Stadium, and my uncle always brought me here. Nobody would ever take me to Tech because they were doing so bad, and I grew to be a Georgia Bulldog fan, and you know, it just came a part of me. But when I realized where I wanted to go, I chose Tech, and that didn't make a whole lot of people happy, but personally myself, I made myself real happy.
I talked to him yesterday, Bob, and he said it had to do with the fact that he wanted to be a part of something that was going to build. He wanted to be a part of that building process.
What a block to build on. 305 pounds, 6 feet 5 inches. He'll be a pro player for sure. Jerry Mays on the first down. Wants to sweep. He's going to throw it. He threw a touchdown pass earlier looking for Lee. It's picked off by Miles Smith at the 13-yard line.
It's a great call here, Bob. Great call. You figure Georgia's going to be cranked up. They haven't been able to move the ball. They're behind. They're going to be coming after you. They're going to be reckless. They're not going to be cautious. And just an excellent job of concentration. That's as good a running fake as I've ever seen on a halfback pass. Good job, Jerry. Good throw. But Miles Smith does not go to sleep. He's back there with Gary Lee and makes a heck of a catch.
Minute to go, first quarter, first turnover of the game, and it goes the way of the Dogs. They're trailing 7-0, and they're at their own. They spotted at the 14. Tate stopped. Gain of only 1. Kyle Ambrose leading the way. You know, we've seen Georgia so many times over the past few years of doing Southeastern Conference football, and we know one thing about Georgia's running game. It may look like they're not getting anywhere in the first and second quarter, but they will pound at you till you cry uncle.
That's right. You know, that's just chipping away at the tree. That's all they're doing. And, you know, they'll wear you out. We've seen it happen as so many teams have experienced in the third and fourth quarter, Georgia coming on.
Georgia's rushed for 42 yards, 29 of them. Lars Tate. This is second down 8. Johnson on the sprint out. Has a man there. It's complete to Osborne at the 29-yard line. It's not a phantom injury, but I'm going to call it phantom for a moment. Remember the days of Herschel Walker. Vince says, I don't know if he can play.
Right, yeah. Now imagine cutting yourself with the knife down your palm and sticking 12 stitches in there. That's what he's playing with. But good job of blocking that gave Wayne Johnson the opportunity to get outside the pressure. Kyle Ambrose trying to fight his way through.
Big defensive play for Tech on the first down. Lars Tate knocked down behind the line of scrimmage, leading the way. The bandit back, Willis Crockett, number 23. Clock ticks down to 4, 3, 2, and 1, and that's going to be the end of the first quarter of play. The Yellow Jackets leading 7-0. It'll be second down, 12 Bulldogs when we return. This is Super Football Saturday on TNT. 83-yard drive. It was a 45-yard pass from quarterback Rick Strom to receiver Gary Lee. Then the touchdown run by Malcolm King. Now trying to come back. Second down 12 from their own 27. In the second quarter, they have the ball. Thanks to Elston. Off the halfback option pass from Mays. Here's Henderson to the 45-yard line. Just what we were talking about. Keith Henderson rips off 7 yards out of the tailback position.
Explodes off the right side. You see Stevens gets a good hook block there. Great lead block by McCluskey, and that's Henderson. Downfield, he's ready to go. Great quick feet. Good to see him back playing.
First down, 5 Bulldogs. Wayne Johnson play fakes. It is complete at the 35-yard line of Georgia Tech. The man with the ball, 87, Troy Sadowski, covered by Ricardo Ingram, a 20-yard completion.
You're going to see Ricardo Ingram, and he's in great shape. Reading back inside to the quarterback. Back inside to the quarterback, now focusing on the receiver. Wayne Johnson is getting too much time to throw that football. Georgia Tech is going to have to get somebody upfield. I don't think they were concerned about the rollout with Wayne Johnson as much as they were with James Jackson.
Deepest Georgia penetration of the game. 1st and 10 at the Tech 35. Play fake again. Seems to be working effectively. Johnson again with a lot of time. Finding nobody, throwing desperately, incomplete. Right at the last minute, he spotted his safety valve, Lars Tate, down inside the 15. Better pressure that time, better defensive pass coverage too, Tim.
Great coverage. He's looking for Nathaniel Lewis deep here, and he can't get it. He's already been flushed out of the pocket, and then Lars Tate works himself free, tries to get his feet down, can't quite do it.
It'll be 2nd down 10 from the 35-yard line. 13:56 to go, first half, Tech leading 7-0. Wayne Johnson played so brilliantly. Georgia upset of Auburn. Only a 4-man rush here by Tech. John Thomas, the intended receiver, incomplete. It'll be 3rd down 10. Reginald Rutland, the man covering on the play. Dean of SEC coaches, Vince Dooley.
And he gets excited watching a football game. It's fun watching the training films. You folks out there would like to watch that, the coach's film of a game, because you have a much broader view. You can actually see everything that's happening, plus the people on the sideline. And Vince Dooley's got some great moves on the sideline. He gets excited and fired up, and he's really into this.
I told Tim Foley, you want to go see Top Gun? Great movie. He says, no, I'd rather watch the coaching film. Tim likes coaching film better than chocolate ice cream. 3rd down 10 from the 35. Although it's close. Johnson under pressure. Down he goes at the 43. Travis Moody, 75, the man who got him. But they were coming in from everywhere. A loss of 8 yards.
Rutland, Ingram, and Stallworth had all locked up man-to-man on the Georgia receivers and had them covered. Wayne Johnson had no place to go.
It'll be 4th down. Chris Carpenter comes in to punt, so Georgia gets it down to the 35-yard line, and the drive stalls. There's Ingram. Chris Carpenter, an excellent punter. I'm wondering if he'll last his career at Georgia as an athlete, though, because of the beckoning call of pro baseball. He's great at dropping it inside the 10. Ingram knows that. Fair catches it at the 10-yard line. And that's where the Yellow Jackets will take over, leading 7-0 with 13:02 to go, first half.
Line gathered around Joe Hollis, offensive line coach in the white shirt in the middle, discussing some different looks that Georgia Tech is giving them.
Look at that weather. That's great Air Foley weather. It's beautiful here in Athens today. 1st down 10, Yellow Jackets. They run the ball off the left side successfully. Malcolm King out to the 19-yard line. King, who scored the Georgia Tech touchdown from 1 yard out after the 45-yard pass completion from Strom to John Davis. Working surface, Tech 65.
The refrigerator mover. To a Tech player there, gets some good movement. Could have been an All-American tackle. Didn't really recognition to make it as a center. An unselfish player, John Davis.
Henry Harris wasn't in the game on that play too, but he is back in there for Georgia. The tackle is Aaron Chubb. Malcolm King carrying again on the 1st down, or gets the 1st down.
That has to be a difficult thing for a young man. John Davis's ability. Played tackle as a freshman, out of recognition. They moved him to center because they needed him inside. As a junior, went back to tackle and had a chance. He was an All-American as a tackle. Football News and Sporting News All-American, and they made the move back very unselfishly. He's doing a good job of leadership in there.
1st and 10 from the 23. It is complete to Gary Lee. He's ridden down at the 31 by Gary Moss. It's about 3 yards short of the 1st down for the Yellow Jackets.
Once again, the purpose of the quick passing on 1st down. Bill Curry is trying to draw that rover and draw that weak side linebacker out to help those 2 cornerbacks.
I wonder if John Davis will look as slim and trim when he finishes his playing career as Bill Curry, one of the great centers of all time in pro football.
Doesn't he make you feel guilty?
Yes. 2nd down 2, and the Bulldogs hit Malcolm King right at the line of scrimmage. John Brantley gets credit for the tackle. It'll be close. It is a first down. Harris and Davis aren't connecting head-to-head here, Tim.
Harris is stunning to the right. That particular call just happened to take him out of the play.
Davis did block him on that play. So they are getting matched up relatively often here. First down 10. Tech's receiver Richard Hills fell down out here. The pass goes incomplete. Hills, a sophomore from Lakeland, Florida. You saw earlier the Georgia Bulldog cheerleader with the Bulldog on the cheek. This rash breaks out at this game. A lot of the students get that rash. It does go away. Mommies and daddies watch. It's not.
Talking about Bill Curry's conditioning, we've got a friend, Nell Watt, in Atlanta, and he used to drive his bicycle by her house. He spent 20 miles on a bicycle and just staying in shape. Now he's having problems with his knee. You've got to cut that out.
Strom on the option. This is Mays. In the corner, then got out of bounds at the 38-yard line. The second he got 4 or 5 on a play. Brantley chased him out of there. Getting field position again. Tech leading in the game 7-0. 11:06. Penetrated Georgia Tech 35, but then a couple of incomplete passes, and the Yellow Jackets held. Third down 5. Jackets at their own 38. Sand Stadium is how they're for this deep six. In motion. Blitz. Strom falling down at the 28. The field wet, though it's beautifully. It rained solidly here for a couple of days. I don't think it's a problem, but it is a little soggy out there.
Georgia will see that play again from Georgia Tech, because in that situation, John Brantley was matched up with Jerry Mays. John cannot run with Jerry Mays, so Georgia Tech will try to get him back into that look again sometime in the future.
John McDevitt, penalty markers down. McDevitt gets off a good punt. Lane going to let it bounce. It's getting a Georgia Tech bounce of about 10, 15, and more yards. It's going to be a long one when it rolls dead at about the 17-yard line. There is a penalty marker down. 53-yard punt from the sophomore from Atlanta, Sean McDevitt. Penalty marker way back upfield. There's the ACC official, Rod Daly. Mixed crew today of Atlantic Coast and Southeastern Conference officials. Illegal procedure, Georgia Tech. And after the 53-yarder, Georgia's going to make them punt it again. There's the cast on the left leg. We talked about Georgia injuries. That's Uga 4. He missed several games. He is back but for the game today, but Otto, who had replaced him, maintained his starting position. He filled in so well.
We need to enter. There's Otto. Otto's coming into the picture now. That's enough talk about Uga.
The backs were lined in too close to the line of scrimmage.
There's the information from the official as to what happened. And there's you get it all from Bill. Definitely displeased. Let's see if McDevitt can get off another 50-yarder. He needs it here. He's him. Not as good. Lane catches it on the run at the 45-yard line. That's going to be about 30 or 35-yard difference. It would have been had there not been the penalty. That's only a 30-yard punt. On TNT. Uga right, and we asked Vince Dooley his philosophy on who would get the starting call today, Otto or Uga.
Well, we do have Uga back, but I'll grant you this, Otto is going to start. Otto has really performed well, and I think he deserves the right to start with Uga being out as long as he has, and Otto has performed magnificently, so he was glad that Uga is back and will be able to back him up.
Equal application of the rules. The same was true for the quarterbacks. Wayne Johnson, who performed well, started, but James Jackson gets his chance, as will Uga later in the game. Jackson enters for the first time for Georgia. This is what he does well as he runs the football. Gets 3 or 4 that time following the sprint out. Travis Moody. with the tackle. So James Jackson, the junior from Camilla, Georgia, who had sore ankles, had a death in the family, missed the Auburn game.
He hadn't really practiced much before the Florida game, Bob, and practiced not at all against Auburn, and then the tragic death of his grandmother, who had raised him and took him out of things.
Second down 8 from the 47. Georgia. 9:40 to go, second quarter. 7-0. Henderson running for the first. Authority. Enthusiasm to the 43-yard line. John Porter making the stop for the Yellow Jackets.
And here's a Keith Henderson that had an 80-yarder against Florida last year. Now look at acceleration back to the inside. Breaks a tackle, feet driving. To stop.
9:26 remaining in the half. First and 10, Georgia at 33. Double tight ends, 87 Sandowski and Kirk Warner, number 83. Henderson to the 36-yard line. Eric Thomas with up.
One thing you develop when you play for Vince Dooley is patience. As you mentioned, often in the first quarter, they don't get a lot of action going. There's not a lot of excitement and a lot of flash, but they're just hammering away, battering away at that defensive wall. And as the game develops, they become more successful.
Henderson, the leading rusher now, 5 carries, 46 yards. Second down, 3 from the 36. Jackson keeping it. First down, Georgia. To the 28-yard line, tripped up by 45, John Porter. Georgia now with their deepest penetration. Previously, the closest they had gotten to the Tech goal line was the 35, now to the 29.
And the left of your screen is Don Lindsay. He's the defensive coordinator. Next to him, Jack Fligg. Those two defensive, Jack Fligg's offensive line, and Rip Shear, the offensive coordinator. Now, Georgia Tech, they've got some folks not too far away from those rascals. Nope, that was Georgia Tech.
First down 10 from the 29. To the 22-yard line. Georgia running game starting to work. And as we talked to Don Lindsay before the game, he said, "Don't understand me, I'm certainly not negative because our defense has played, goes out of there, and Lars Tate comes in." It's Tate behind Berry, excuse me. Tate to the 4.
Tate runs through that tackle down to the 4.
Shades of the refrigerator with the Bears playing in the backfield. First and goal for the 4 Bulldogs. Berry's out of there now. We have McCluskey, Henderson, and Tate. Here's Henderson, stopped at the line of scrimmage by Ricardo Ingram.
It's amazing what you can find out by accident. I mean, McCluskey was nicked. They lost Kevin Jackson, where he had a hamstring problem. Randy Jackson had a knee problem. They were just decimated by injuries in that backfield, and they took Hiawatha Berry, who had played fullback some in high school, and put him in there. He's done a good job.
Second and goal from the 4. Same backfield, double tight end. So motion Henderson. Pitch Tate, power run, cuts inside, touchdown, Bulldogs.
Football. Toss to Tate, sees it back in the field, inside, great block by Kim Stevens, knocking a Georgia Tech defender off his feet. Now it's Tate just running his way in there.
Brumley to attempt the point after. This game is tied with 5:36 to go, first half. Georgia Tech 7, the Bulldogs 7. 10 plays on the drive. Student body right, Tim.
Left. They're going to run a little motion here just to create some confusion, create a little movement, hoping to force a mental error. They don't get it, but you get a good block by Chris Warren. Kim Stevens pulling out, stuffs John Porter. He can't get the penetration, and Tate always looking back inside. Fights his way in. Ricardo Ingram couldn't keep him out.
Tate has scored 14 touchdowns rushing.
He's really in maturing as a running back. Saying hi to the folks back in Indianapolis.
Lars Tata Jr., 6'2", 210. Tate now with 852 yards rushing on the year. Crumley's kickoff goes out of bounds. He'll move it back 5 yards and kick it off again. 5:36 to go in the half. The 55-yard scoring drive, all on the ground by Georgia, took 4.5 minutes. A big run of 20 yards by Keith Henderson really was in that drive. And Tim, the question is, when James Jackson comes in the ball game, I've always thought it really gives Georgia another running back, which adds another defensive problem.
That's what I thought, but in talking to Don Lindsay, the defensive coordinator for Georgia Tech, he said he wasn't that concerned about them. Both of them can hurt you, and both of them can run the ball fairly well. What you get with James Jackson, and one of the things I'm sure worries Vince and excites Vince Dooley, is you get more big plays from James Jackson, but early on in the season you had more bad plays from him too. There was a greater degree of variance, a broader spectrum in performance from James Jackson, although in mid-season he had become pretty consistent.
From the 30, Crumley. Tough bounce, Gary Lee. Near the 30-yard line, and down he goes, tackled for the 3rd time on special teams by number 20, Rusty Beasley, a sophomore from Livonia, Georgia, who's been significant on the Georgia kickoff coverage teams today. Tie game, 5.5 minutes to go, first half, the 81st meeting between the Bulldogs and the Yellow Jackets. That is, if you ask Tech, it's the 81st. Georgia ignores 2 games that were played during the war years, saying they didn't have enough good players and don't count them.
We got to talk about that.
They can't even agree on when they played or if they played. Here's Jerry Mays. Turns the corner. He scooted it down the sideline and got very close to the first down. Little chased him out. The Georgia Tech mascot.
You talk about not being able to agree. In 43 and 44, the war years, they were training a lot of Navy pilots, Georgia Tech. We watched this rerun here, and what actually happened was Georgia Tech had a lot of men playing on their team, and Georgia had these young guys, so Georgia said, hey, we're not counting those 2 victories. You cheated. And so they don't add them up at Georgia.
Oh, my. 2 years ago, when John Dewberry was quarterbacking for Georgia Tech, Tech beat over here, Dewberry and a couple of the players took some twigs from the hedges, and has remained in the craw of the throats of the Georgia players ever since. They do not want twigs from the hedges. You saw a bumper sticker there. There's somebody from Tech getting an early twig. He better wait. It's still tied. He's starting early. Strom going long, looking for Lee. He's deep. He's there. Gary Lee to the 5. 55 yards.
I'll tell you what, Bob, this gives me chills being a defensive back. I've been in this situation, and you got to be happy for Gary Lee. He just runs right by him here. There's nothing fancy. Miles Smith just doesn't turn and run fast enough. Son, you got to back up a little bit. That guy's faster than you are, and it's an awfully lonely feeling to drag yourself up off the turf and walk back to the huddle after that.
Gary Lee, a pro-quality receiver, showing you why. First and goal from the 5. Jerry Mays. Touchdown, Yellow Jackets.
Georgia knocks it in here. Waters, Tim Mannion, nice block. Brantley can't keep him out of the end zone. And the thing that really has to stick in Bill Lewis's craw is that they're not blitzing because they're afraid of what just happening. And in that particular instance, that was a 3-deep zone. So it's a conservative call. Don't get beat in your zone. They're going to beat you. He can beat you.
David Bell point after. 14-7, 4:57 to go, first half.
They can beat you physically. In the type of situation there, you're beating yourself mentally when you get the ball thrown over your head in the 3-deep zone.
This is Super Football Saturday on TNT.
The 4-yard line.
Oh, the afterburners. Georgia Tech leads 14-7 with 4:56 7 to go in the first half. Gary Lee caught a 45-yard pass reception on the first Tech scoring drive. Now he's caught a 55-yard reception, setting up the 5-yard touchdown run. 71-yard drive, only 39 seconds. And Tim, you pointed it out at the beginning of the game. Georgia's got to figure a way to stop that if they're going to hold Tech, because that's been the whole deal.
Right, and credit Rick Strom, because he had a face full of Henry Harris just as he let go of the football.
Bell kicks it into the end zone. Lane touches it down, and Georgia will have it first down 10 at the 20. So we've got a classic confrontation going here that's really enjoyable. I hope you folks are enjoying as much as we are. The great running game of Georgia, just pounding that ball at you successfully, and Tech doesn't know how to stop it. And Georgia Tech's passing game, and Gary Lee, and Georgia doesn't know how to stop it.
Well, you know, not knowing how to stop it, I don't think that's necessary. I think they know how to stop it. They just don't have the people to stop it. And what you're going to have to do on Gary Lee, Bill Lewis, I'm sure, is going to have to start jamming him at the line of scrimmage, preventing him from getting that free deep shot.
James Jackson continues at quarterback. First and 10, Georgia, trailing by 7 now. Jackson's going to sprint out and look to throw. It is complete to Lane. Out here to the 36-yard line, Freddie Lane, 16-yard completion. Jackson's first pass, and Lane's first catch of the day.
We'll put him in pain, Freddie Lane. Here he comes. Senior captain, nice move, breaks down, Stallworth reacting, the ball right on time. Good throw by James Jackson.
Freddie wants to be a broadcaster when he graduates. It'd be good to get him in the booth up here with Tim, a wide receiver and a defensive back.
Right, look at him. He's an offensive player. You can tell he's gritty and everything.
Never gets scuffed up. Lars Tate
right
to the 40.
Tell those offensive guys, they always looking for. He catch it and go out of bounds. Good play.
I've always felt that it would be great to have a wide receiver in the booth with yourself.
Hey, but give Freddie credit, because against Kentucky, he came in at tailback. They had so many injuries, and Freddie did a fine job. People in front of him.
Lars Tate, 57 yards, 1 touchdown. Second down 5, Georgia from the 41, trailing by 7, 4:20 to go, first half. Jackson. This is where he's dangerous. First down, Georgia, James Jackson, Travis Moody. And, you know, Tim, I have to disagree with the Tech coaches a little bit, just in my opinion. I think James Jackson is another running back there, and I think the players look at it that way, because he has the effect of a running back more than Wayne Johnson.
I think he has the opportunity. He's got more quickness of foot. There's no question about it. And when you look at his stats in high school, had a lot more yards running the ball than Wayne Johnson did. I think the point that they were making, though, is, you know, what would you rather kill yourself with? You know, a shotgun or a Magnum? You know, I mean, so they both can hurt you.
Here's Tate, trips and falls at the line of scrimmage.
You understand what I'm saying? I don't think they're saying that either one of them is better. They say, look, when you got a problem, who cares who's giving you the problem if they both can give it to you?
Lars Tate, what a year he's had. 14 touchdowns running, 1 catching the ball. This telecast is authorized under broadcasting rights granted by the Southeastern Conference. It is intended solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, rebroadcast, or retransmission of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game, this will be continued in a few minutes here. It'll take me another 15, 20 minutes to read that to you. Keith Henderson. Down to the 37-yard line. In whole or in part without the express written consent of the Southeastern Conference and the Turner Broadcasting System is prohibited. There.
Great move by Keith Henderson. Understand, this young man started the year as a fullback. McCluskey occupies one blocker, and then he just outruns Andre Thomas to the outside. And now it's back to being a fullback again. Keith Henderson not running out, that shoulder down, powering upfield for the extra yardage.
Georgia, 104 yards rushing, 58 from Tate, 68 from Henderson. Timeout on the field, charged Yellow Jackets with 2:54 remaining in the first half, and the Yellow Jackets leading. Coming up on New Year's Eve, Timberley, Bob Neal, and Paul Horn, Alabama for the All-American Bowl. Florida State playing Florida today.
Is Paul going to let me ride in the limo this year? I think I've earned a ride in a limo.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Paul was discussing the limo with the folks just he's very sensitive about who rides in that limo. I know I've never been in.
Vince Dooley on the phone with George Hafner upstairs. George, we're talking about high school days. Of course, is from Mount Carmel High School in Chicago, and Mount Carmel has got, I think they're rated the 3rd or 4th best high school football in the nation this year, and he said he's got some receivers up there that he's looking at as you see the Georgia coaching staff. George Hafner, second from the left.
First down 10 from the 36-yard line. Georgia trailing 14-7, 2:54 to go in the half. McCluskey, Henderson in the backfield. Keith Henderson to the 33. Victor Perry, Mac Burrows, Keith Johnson, Stevens, Wheeler, Adams. Varying times on that offensive line for Georgia. Remember, their best offensive lineman, or certainly a significant one, Wilbur Strozier, is not in there. He's injured against Auburn. Second down 6 from the 32. Henderson. Well played by Tech, but Henderson keeps scrambling to the 30. He's down there. It'll be 3rd and about 4. Andre Thomas with the trip up.
Good penetration by Kyle Ambrose. East Orange, New Jersey, Kyle Ambrose.
Interestingly enough, when you look at the defensive alignment for Tech, they have 3 defensive ends who are from Ohio. Shane Curry from Cincinnati, Sean Smith from Cincinnati, and Steve Mullen from Youngstown. Then you go over to Ambrose. He's from East Orange, New Jersey, and Willie Burks, the lone Southerner in there from Dothan, Alabama.
And they're all freshmen. Shane Curry, a true freshman. Sean Smith, as we discuss, a significant individual. He's 6'7", weighs 260 pounds, and just a baby.
And that's one of the problems that the Yellow Jackets have, is facing this mature, excellent offensive line for the University of Georgia. They just lost that black watch. You get a good view there that you just looked at. Only one of those players with that black stripe down his helmet. That's because these players are so young. They'll earn probably the defensive recognition as they mature. Big play. 3rd and 4, Georgia trailing by 7. 2:11 to go, first half. Tate. Todd Wheeler at center, moving Willie Burks out. Willie Burks finally makes the tackle after the first down run.
And Kim Stevens got an excellent block on Mark White. Be able to see it from here. Tate bobs a little bit to the right and then slashes it right upfield. Thinking first down, thinking first down. Some running backs get caught up running laterally on 3rd and 4, and that can really hurt you. You're not looking to get a touchdown. You're looking to get 4 or 5 yards, whatever you need.
Georgia player down. As soon as we, Tech player, as soon as we clearly identify the player, it's Ingram. Does not look to be anything serious, just guessing. Ingram was in on that play at the end of it. Maybe the wind knocked out, hopefully.
Coming to put the shot on Lars Tate. Couldn't see anything there, and free safety, FS. That could stand for full speed. You're talking about Ricardo Ingram. He's 100% all the time.
Looks to be okay. We'll update you. He's out of the ball game right now, though, and that's significant when it's first down 10 at the 20. Bulldogs, you don't want Ricardo Ingram, your leading tackler, off the field. He's okay. You bet he'll be back in next play. Watch for that. Replacing him, Anthony Harrison. James Jackson. Throwing. Touchdown. And the defender was Anthony Harrison. Nate Lewis with the reception. They picked on the replacement immediately.
We'll see it after the extra point, Bob. The key to that play, though, was James Jackson continued to roll. Paul Johnson couldn't get the containment. He had 3 different Georgia players try to block him. Couldn't stop the lateral movement of James Jackson.
This game's tied with 4.5. So Harrison comes off the bench, obviously, but he's cold as Ingram went out. He was shaken up on the play. Immediately, Georgia goes right into the end zone.
What you want to do is limit James Jackson's lateral mobility. Get upfield. You see Jurgensen working against Adams there, and here comes McCluskey to help out, and he's still fighting. And here comes Lars Tate to help out. That just gives him too much time to throw the ball. Now, a nice acrobatic catch by Nathaniel Lewis. Everybody in good shape. He just played the ball well. Getting with, throws the ball downfield. And he's excited. Big play by James Jackson and Nate Lewis.
Wayne Johnson started the ball game, but Jackson comes in and throws his 9th touchdown pass of the year. There's Gary Lee, 33, and Corey Collier, 25, back to take the kickoff from Georgia. It's tied at 14. We've got ourselves a beauty. Jackson, 2 drives, 2 touchdowns since he came into the game for Georgia.
Last year, Gary Lee, we showed you in the opening, took it 95 yards, and that's why Georgia's kicking the ball a bit funny this game. They don't want to set that for him again.
Joey Hester is kicking off, number 1. Joey is a redshirt freshman quarterback. Something back of the future here at Georgia. Sure tough to these kickoffs. Gary Lee at the 9. Out to the 21. 27, Rick Fromm with the stop. And this game's tied at 14 with a minute 41 to go. Stay with us at halftime. We'll see the Georgia Redcoat marching band college scores, and we'll meet Glenn Davis, first baseman for the Astros. He was runner-up as most valuable player in the National League this year. And, of course, played his collegiate baseball for the University of Georgia. First down 10 from the 20-yard line. And 41 to go, first half. Penalty markers down. Carrying the ball, 29, Malcolm King.
Greg Williams had an ankle problem and a knee problem, but number 23 is back in there at cornerback.
Offsides, Bulldogs. This game started when Collier ran it in from 1 yard out after a 45-yard pass to Lee to set up the Georgia Tech touchdown. That happened in the first quarter. Comes the second quarter. Georgia runs the ball downfield, 55 yards. They don't throw any passes at all. Tate takes it in from 4.
Offside, defense penalty decline. Second down.
Then only just a little over a late later, Georgia Tech scored because Mays ran it in from 5 after a 55-yard pass to Gary Lee. Now Georgia has come back, driven it hard, and Jackson Nate Lewis. Second down 2. Short of the first down, up to the 30. Steve Boswell with a stop.
In that particular defensive alignment, they made an adjustment in the backfield, brought Williams back in, and we could see from our vantage point, lined up Will Jones out on the flanker. They had him all the way removed from the game. He's out jamming the flanker. They don't want to give him a quick score again, especially at this time of the game, minute 14 left to go in the half.
It is 40-yard line. Tim Mannion with the reception on the first down pass. Clock down to 1:02 in the half. That ball. They've wound the clock now on the sideline, but I don't see it ticking up here.
Well, Curry's hot, that's for sure. It looked like the guy was tackled out of bounds there. That's what Bill wants to know. What's the matter?
One of the officials signaled run the clock. The other official signaled don't run the clock, and it has not, in fact, run. It's stayed at a minute and 2. The referee taking control. This is a mixed crew now, ACC and SEC officials.
Curry complaining about a cheap shot on the sideline, if you could read his lips.
They did not run the clock, so he got out of bounds. Strom is nailed at the 27 from the famous Georgia blitz. Richard Tarditz came in from the sideline. Tarditz had 5 sacks coming into this game.
Comes on the right side. Looked like he beat Sorrells. Just a quick arm over. Excellent quickness by Richard Tarditz there.
9-yard loss. It'll bring up third down 12. Clock ticks down to 43 seconds.
We're talking about coaching pedigrees. Bill Curry had the opportunity to play for Bob Dodd at Georgia Tech, then went into the NFL where he played for Vince Lombardi, followed by Don Shula.
Officials, again, I keep telling you, it's a mixed crew, and often what that means, I don't mean that they have problems as to who they're for or not, but it often means they have problems with communications, not working together as crews get used to doing in each individual conference. So following the discussion, the clock is now running. It'll be 30. The clock is ticked down to 34, 33, and counting.
5 defensive backs in for Georgia. Loosen up, fellas.
3-man rush. Strom is going to keep it. He's hit at the line of scrimmage, and I think Georgia Tech, by the look of that play, decided where we are with the time remaining is let's just take it down here, and they're going to have to get rid of the ball. It'll be 4th down. Georgia will have at least one opportunity to touch the ball because the clock is stopped. They'll have to punt it.
See Vince Dooley, more wins than any other Georgia coach, best winning ratio of any coach that's ever coached at Georgia.
Here comes the punting unit in. Freddie Lane is back at about his own 35-yard line to take the Sean McDevitt offering. Now Lane comes out and Moss goes in to take the punt. 13 seconds remaining in the half. This kind of game, you never want to say that he's just going to punt it and Georgia's going to run the clock out, because big plays have been the story of this series. Just ask Georgia last year. Georgia dominated the ball game, but big plays from Georgia Tech's point of view over at Grant Field in Atlanta made the difference in the Tech win.
And in talking to Bill Curry, one of the things he said, and I think he's right, I think Georgia has more ability on the hoof than they do at Georgia Tech, but just stay close and then come up with a big play late in the game. Here they come.
They're going after it. McDevitt gets off a beauty, however. And it's taking a Georgia Tech bounce. They sent everybody after that one. Clock ticking down to 2 to 1, and the ball goes dead at the 21. McDevitt got a 49-yarder off under pressure. Georgia almost got it. But at halftime, we have a 14-14 ball game and a beauty on our hands from Athens, Georgia.
I'm always coming up with great promotions for 7-Up, like this one. I ask people to send me pictures of their cans. Take a look. Oh! Look like Christmas hams. Look at the backyard on this fella. That about ends the first annual 7-Up Show Us Your Can contest. Next time I'll be more specific. Mom? Okay. Yes, sir. Get your hands in it. Get your hands in it. That's it. We're gonna fight, fight, fight all day and night. Woo! Woo! Okay, you made it. See you on game day. Yes!
The Bulldogs of Georgia and the Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech. Bob Neal and Tim Foley with you at halftime. Tim, we can't ask for more in a football game. It's been a beauty. Georgia Tech passing effectively with 2 touchdowns, setting them up, and Georgia running the ball so very well. And the difference, I think Georgia's looked a little bit differently since James Jackson came in.
I don't think there's any question about it. He added some excitement, some enthusiasm, and he's 2 for 2 for touchdowns. That isn't bad.
2 for 2 for 2 touchdowns. James Jackson. Wayne Johnson had started. We don't know who will be back in the second half. Let's have a look at the first half highlights, however, and there are some beauties. Georgia Tech got on the scoreboard first of all. Here is Strom to that man, Gary Lee, 45 yards on this one, beating the cornerback, Miles Smith. Then Kerry Collier makes it 7-0 Georgia Tech from 1 yard out. Georgia comes back. Lawrence Tate takes it in. Georgia just running the ball very effectively, but Georgia Tech goes to Lee again, this time 55 yards.
This is over the top, and this is why, mothers, you don't want your sons to grow up to be cornerbacks.
Jerry Mays from 5 to score following the 55-yard pass to Lee. That gives Tech a lead, 14-7, 5 minutes remaining. But James Jackson's on the move. Ricardo Ingram had gone down for Georgia Tech, and Anthony Harrison had come in, 31. back there in the defensive secondary, and the pass goes to Nate Lewis, and that tied it up.
And just one play. He missed one play, out for one play, advantage of that.
The extent of the injury to Ricardo Ingram appeared minor as he walked off, and we do at this point expect Ingram to be back in the ballgame. Any general feeling of what might in the second half in terms of either one of these teams?
I think defensively, Georgia gets somebody out on Gary Lee, and that's going to remove one man from their run defense.
All right, we'll see what happens. Stay with us. It's tied at 14 at Sanford Stadium. This is Super Football Saturday on TNT.
You know, Coach, we had all day.
May not be a good day.
I have seen some nice pine here, though, just begging for osmos.
Yeah, there's nothing like Osmo from Great Southern Wood. It's clean, straight, and backed by loud.
Something's wrong. Caw, caw, cluck, 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 gobble, gobble, gobble.
So remember, if it doesn't say Osmos on the yellow tag, believe me, you don't want it.
East and West will battle in Atlanta for the SEC Championship, but that's not the only big show set to hit this town. The Dr. Pepper SEC Fan Fair. From football to golf to the Chick-fil-A SEC TV experience produced by Fox Sports Net, it's 240,000 square feet of interactive fun at the Georgia World Congress Center December 1st and 2nd. $8 gets you in the door, and discount coupons are available. For details, go to secsports.com. We're all about fun and games at the Dr. Pepper SEC Fan Fair.
Nice one.
There's Georgia's mascot, one of two Bulldogs down there today. That's Otto, and Georgia Tech are tied at 14 here in the battle between the hedges for 1986. Ready to begin the fourth quarter. The University of Georgia scoring late in the half on the 20-yard touchdown pass from James Jackson to Nate Lewis. It'll be interesting to see how Georgia can defense Gary Lee, tremendous wide receiver for Georgia Tech, who's been able to get deep both times. That's Freddie Lane and Nate Lewis. Lane over there on the left, number 4. Nate Lewis on the right, number 8. And there's Gary Lee, senior from Albany, Georgia. You can probably expect to see him in pro football. From the 10, it's Nate Lewis. Up the middle, but the hole closed quickly, and down goes Lewis at the 25. He's hit by Jeff Zimmerman, number 50 for Georgia Tech. James Jackson will continue at quarterback for Georgia. He's really sparked the team since he came in, 2 for 2 for 2 touchdowns throwing the ball. But the strength of Georgia has been, once again, their effectiveness from the tailback position, particularly running the football.
And credit Scott Adams, who's filling in for the injured Wilbur Strozier, for doing a remarkable job on the right side.
Number 75, that outside man on the right. Here comes Tate off left guard to the 33-yard line, tripped up by Willie Burks, the freshman nose guard for Tech.
And that's what Vince Dooley likes to see. Rip off a nice 7 to 8 yards on first down. Now you're in control on offense. And the other thing that's happening, this is the best way to stop Gary Lee right here. They can run the ball, eat up the clock. That's the best way for a defense to be effective.
Second down 3 from the 33. Sandusky in motion. Pitch to Tate, hit behind the line. Knocked down at the 30 by Willis Crockett. Crockett's had 5 tackles, and he's had a couple behind the line today. Tackles for losses. Just a sophomore from Douglas, Georgia, and that just reminds me that this is a young Georgia Tech football team. There are the stats. Look at the rushing and passing. It's just flip-flop both ways, and that's been the story of the game.
216, 218. Tough to get much closer than that.
3rd and 5, Georgia now. McCluskey, Tate in the backfield. Play fake to Tate. Good block there on the pressure on the quarterback, but the pass intended for McCluskey goes incomplete. Kim Stevens cut the feet from underneath 91 Sean Smith, or Smith would have been all over Jackson on that.
And I'm sure that's what Don Lindsay talked to his defensive ends about. Get upfield. Shut him down early. Make him pull up. Don't give him so much time. Ricardo Ingram back in there as a punt returner.
He was shaken up on the final defensive play from the line of scrimmage for Georgia Tech in the second half. His replacement, Anthony Harrison, came in cold, and immediately James Jackson threw the ball in his area to Nate Lewis for a Georgia touchdown. Here's Chris Carpenter. It's another beauty. His hang time is measured with a calendar. Ingram. Penalty markers down everywhere as Ingram goes to the turf at about the 23. David McCluskey, first man on the tackle. 51-yard punt for Chris Carpenter. And Georgia's punt coverage team. Georgia ranks 4th nationally in net punting yardage. And, of course, that talks totally about the team effort covering the punts. They only allow about 5 yards of punt return. Clipping, Georgia Tech. That'll move them in a deep hole.
What do you think, Bob? Could a guy be a pitcher on a baseball team, a major league pitcher on a baseball team, and a punter on a football team?
I'd like to see it. I doubt it. We'll be right back.
Because the elements of surprise are what life is made of. Because the unexpected isn't always a good thing. And because a trip to the doctor isn't always on the menu. With 17 locations in the Puget Sound area, we're never far from home.
Okay, you're next.
Yes, sir.
Get your hands in it. Get your hands in it. That's it.
We're gonna fight, fight, fight all day and night. Woo! Woo!
Okay, you made it. See you on game day.
Yes!
Bob Neal and Tim Foley with you from Sanford Stadium. I'd like to thank our great booth crew for the great job they've done all year on our Southeastern Conference football. Kim Anderson, our spotter, Alex Vergara, statistician, and Paula Edge, our booth manager, which is a tough job. They're going upstairs again. Gary Lee, he's deep again, but they don't get him the ball this time. Covering is Greg Williams, and that's a change that's made. Greg is the normal starting number 23 cornerback there. Miles Smith had played for him. Greg Williams has a sore knee and ankle, but is going to try to play.
And this ball's just thrown up over the top. If Strom would have gotten a little bit more air under this one, look at Williams' run. He doesn't look like he can really step out, and I think they're going to keep working on that. What Georgia's going to eventually have to do is get somebody in Gary Lee's face.
Second down 10 from the 10-yard line. Isom in there at wide receiver now as Gary Lee went out of the ball game. Strom fakes one way, goes the other. Runs successfully. And goes out of bounds at the 48-yard line, chased out by Guthrie. Strom gallops for 36 yards, and Strom gives Georgia a little taste of what it's like to chase James Jackson.
This time it's just a count. They've been diving the field line of scrimmage. Beautiful block by Eric Bearden, and then Strom breaks a tackle and it's clear. He's no threat to go all the way, but that's a whole lot longer than anybody expected him to go.
Rick Strom gets Tech out of the hole. 36-yard run. It's Hills in motion. Strom incomplete for Malcolm King. Brown, 72, is chasing Strom around. They wanted to sucker him up there. King just done.
The thing that's a play pack is if you're running the ball well, and that's why I think James Jackson in Georgia has been able to integrate the play pass this afternoon and in the past several weeks. Same thing for Georgia Tech. They've been running the football against Georgia, so that makes the play pass that much better.
Second and 10 from the 48 now. Slot right formation. Hills goes in motion. On the draw to Jerry Mays. Not much there. A couple of yards, no more, near midfield. Penalty marker down in the Georgia defensive backfield. It's 3 Moss and 44 Boswell on the tackle. There's Jerry Mays, the sophomore. Last year's ACC Rookie of the Year. Clipping, Georgia Tech. That's a big one. That'll be 15 from the spot of the foul.
Must have been in that close to that interior area.
It definitely was. They mark it off from there.
See if we can find it. There's an area 5 yards either side of the football, 2 yards either side of the line, where clipping is actually legal. Mays breaks a tackle. You know, he, I think, displays a remarkable amount of power, as small as he is. Both those fellas have broken tackles this afternoon. And you've got to wrap them up. If you hit them, they're light enough, well, they'll just careen off you and just continue down the field.
Cream, a basketball term here.
Thanks.
Is it not boss? Second.
Football days.
Strom, incomplete. Intended for Gary Lee. He wanted a penalty markers. Officials say no. Number 3, Gary Moss. Looks like he got him before the ball got there to me, Tim.
Of course, our producer is from Georgia, so he won't think this is pass interference. Lee comes down inside the chain. Look for the...
Oh, yeah. Gary Lee is upset about the no call. 23. 14. 12:38 to go. Third quarter. That clipping call really put a damper on this drive by Tech. They got to get it all back right here and can't do it. Tried to get it to Mannion, the tight end, number 40. So the clipping penalty, and then from Tech's point of view, the no call on potential pass interference. Really good. Watch 97, Paul Giles here.
In a game like this is almost a screen draw down. Good move by Giles. Arm over. He's right on Strom. Strom doesn't have the ability to follow through as he tries to get it to Mannion, who's been an effective third down receiver for him.
Devitt with the punt. It's way a wobbly punt. Lane at the 30. Bobbles it. Down he goes. About the 29-yard line. 35-yard punt. No return. Now the Bulldogs get the ball in decent position just inside their own 30. This game is tied at 14, and we have a beauty on our hand from San Francisco. Starting to cloud up just a bit. See the sign there referring to the Auburn Hosers. Of course, the Bulldog Auburn Tigers. Enthusiasm from some fans following that game. Georgia will be crazy. James Jackson on first and 10. Tucking it. They'll say his body hit the ground short. It'll be second and less than a yard.
Hard to tell who Bill is talking to there. Looks like the whole he's got all-pro for the Baltimore Colts. He's also, he doesn't look like a football coach, does he, Bob? And doesn't talk. He talks like a statesman, like a president of the United States or something
Senator
like that.
Curry has a ring to it. Second down 1. James Jackson. Plenty of time. Now he's going long for Freddie Lane, but Tech had 3 of them back there. 31, Harrison, Salworth, and Rutland, and seeing Anthony Harrison back there makes me wonder about why Ricardo Ingram isn't in there for Georgia Tech. We'll try to find out.
Good defense by Georgia Tech. I think James Jackson just threw that one out there. If Freddie could run to it, great. If he couldn't, then probably no one else could. Rutland's been a tremendous player for him, too. Reginald Rutland started 43 out of 44 games since he's been at Georgia Tech.
Third down, less than a yard. Powerhouse backfield. First down. Tech knew on, or Georgia knew on second. They had a great shot with their great running game at first down, so they had a free play there, and that's what they did. I see Ricardo Ingram over on the far side at the 45-yard line. He appears to be okay, yet Anthony Harrison, the senior, is in there for Georgia Tech. Ingram, the leading tackler and leader of the Tech defensive unit. As I say, he looks to be okay, but he's not in the ball game. First and 10 from the 43, Georgia. Get in motion. Tate. For 3 or 4. Hit initially by Willie Burks. There's Rick Strom. He's thrown some long balls today. Rick Strom on the afternoon's thrown for 147 yards. Here's Ingram coming back to the ball game for Harrison now.
Strom has certainly given them the leaders that they need to play with this Georgia football team.
Second and 7, 46. 3 wideouts in the ball game. They give it to Tate. Tate first down. Inside the 45 and the 44-yard line goes Lars Tate. Shane Curry with the stop.
You know, I really thought we'd see Todd Wheeler playing some tackle. He's playing center now, but Scott Adams is getting a standoff there. Kim Stevens, of course, doing his regular yeoman's job.
Scott Adams is a big kid. He's just a sophomore. 6'6", 255 pounds, playing for the injured Wilbur Strozier. First and 10 from 44 of Tech now for the Bulldogs. McCluskey. Pull back to the 39-yard line. Mark White with the stop for the Yellow Jackets. And here comes that Georgia running game. Just pounding. They've got 187 yards on the ground.
My judgment walking around the field before the game, but I'd call most of them big kids. Especially when they've got 60s and 70s on their jersey.
I didn't see any small ones down there. Second down. Hiawatha Bear offensive line. And the fullback, number 30. He blocks for Henderson. And O'Donnell. Penalty marker. Henderson ran right behind the Berry over on the left side of the line. It's going to be a personal foul call. Oh, they picked it up? Nope. Probably happened before the whistle sounded.
You can hear the Jets warming up. Now here comes Hiawatha. Boom! Hits Rod Stevens, clears the way, and what a great block. Porter makes the tackle longer.
Barry, what'd you say? He's up to about 260. 260-pound guard, Hiawatha Barry, playing at fullback for 39. On the delay this time to Tate. Look at his effort. He runs head-on into Ricardo Ingram, who's able to stop him, but not until Lars Tate has run for a first down. 9:08 to go, third quarter, and Georgia running it down the throat of the Yellow Jackets.
Now you tell me, you know, you're always asking me questions. Doesn't he look like a different back to you than he did earlier in the year and in the previous years we've seen him run?
More confident. Second effort is better.
Much more reckless, too. Much more acceleration upfield.
I wonder if he's got his mindset from his previous injuries, perhaps, playing without thinking about it. Talking about 32 Lars Tate, who's running the ball right here. I'd call that reckless. Down to the 7-yard line. Andre Thomas with a stop. And now Tate has gone over 100 yards. He has 112 yards on the day, and we're only halfway through the third quarter.
I don't think this necessarily surprises the defensive coaches for Georgia. They're trying to blitz. John Porter, number 45, and buries himself, keeping the have a chance to make the play.
Ingram, a lot more action back there than the Tech coach wanted to get from the safety position. Here comes that man again. Touchdown!
The last time dialed Lars Tate's number, he cut inside. This time there's nothing there back inside. As Troy Sadowski gets a nice block on Willis Crockett, and Tate takes it in.
Crumley with the point after. Lars Tate with his 15th down the year. Point after is good. 8:13 to go, third quarter. Georgia 21, Georgia Tech 14. That's the first time Georgia has led in this ball game. This is Super Football Saturday on TNT.
Dear Shell, my name is Ann Cochran, and I have an idea. Give away free gas as a way of thanking loyal customers. I mean, loyalty should count for something, right? Every month, we get free gas. What do you think?
Let it roll down the highway.
Oh.
Let it roll.
That was my second idea.
Roll, roll, roll. We keep America running.
For 75 years, Napa has led the way in the automotive parts business. Others have tried to keep up, but nobody offers more parts or better service for your vehicle than Napa. So for the best parts, best service, and the best price for automotive, marine, heavy-duty, or agricultural needs, come to Napa. Napa Auto Parts. We've kept America running for 75 years.
We keep America running.
Well, we thought there might be a weakness at right tackle, Tim.
Watch number 75, Scott Adams, Paul Jorgensen. He gets to stand off and eventually gets his head around the outside, occupies him enough where he's not a factor in the play. Very concerned, as was Joe Hollis, I'm sure, about that right tackle position where they lost All-American Wilbur Strozier, but credit Scott Adams with doing a fine job.
Well, Lars Tate is only 80 yards away from a season. He has 120, came in here today with 8. And the kickoff return, 36-yard line from Corey Collier. 26-yard run. He was hit by Rusty Beasley. Made his 4th special teams play. There's the Bull scoring drive, 70 yards. And it was Lars Tate left, Lars Tate right. And you can credit some good offensive line play. Hiawatha Berry with some good blocking out of the backfield. And Georgia's running game was at full speed. That was the classic Georgia tailback-oriented offense at work. 7-point Georgia lead. Tech ball, good field position. Toby Pearson in motion. Georgia gets to Kelsey. Not much. We're at Sanford Stadium in Georgia, as if you didn't know. Larry Brown, John Brantley with the tackle, and the red-clad Bulldog fans are on their feet. First lead of the ball game for the Dogs.
Bill Lewis, I'm sure, is excited about the momentum that his defense now seems to have. But I'll guarantee you, as you look at that man, he never forgets the number 33, Gary Lee. Where is he? How are we going to stop him? Because that's the way that Georgia Tech can hurt them in a hurry.
Lee, 33, splits to the right side on 2nd down 8 from the 38. Strom is going to throw. He's going to look for Lee. Can't find him. Goes to King out of the backfield. Second effort gets the first down for Malcolm King. 28, Aaron Chubb with a stop for the Bulldogs.
And give Henry Harris an assist on that when it looked like he tipped the ball. Georgia's really got a pair of linebackers in the middle in the style and the tradition of that tough, hard-nosed Georgia linebacker, Steve Boswell and John Brantley.
7:01 to go, 3rd quarter. First down 10, Yellow Jackets at the 48-yard line. Georgia Tech trailing 21-14. Strom on the option. Here's the pitch. Collier gets 5 or 6, knocked out of bounds on the near sideline to about the 48-yard line.
Let's look at these two interior linebackers. Boswell, 44, was the Sports Illustrated Defensive Player of the Week last week for his performance, 2 weeks ago for his performance against Auburn. And there's Brantley, had 144 tackles coming into this game. You can always find John Brantley in a crowd. He's the one camouflage when he was on. You see him as graduation, cap and gown, camouflage.
Rambo graduates. 2nd down 5. From the 47-yard line, some movement down there. Penalty. Looked like Henry Harris got off the ball very quickly against John Davis. And that's a matchup that's been, the battle goes on all the time between those two. Even when Harris and Davis don't lock horns on every play, it causes a lot of changes in the scrimmage. Harris for this play will be out of there long. You can bet on that.
Georgia Tech giving Georgia a little bit different look. They're lining up unbalanced line.
5-yard penalty.
And the second tight end they have in the game back to the wide side of the field.
There you go. It's not quite enough for the first down, so it'll be 2nd down in inches. This gives Georgia Tech back to free play at a place that's a very opportune location for the passing game. Lee is not in there. Isom is in place of Lee. They give the ball to Kelsey. He struggles, but I believe gets the first down. Goldberg, 95 with a tackle. He was in there for Henry Harris at the nose guard. They probably wanted to take advantage of Harris being out of the ball game, but Goldberg is a good player, 6'3", 260-pound freshman. I liked Goldberg earlier in the year when there were injuries. Did you not?
Yeah, he gained a lot of valuable experience. There's no question about that. Georgia defense playing a little poker now with Georgia Tech. They were in a blitz alignment. Gary Moss in bump and run. Then right before the snap, came back out of there.
It's first down 10 from the 41-yard line. Rick Strom doesn't like what he sees. Calls a timeout. The first timeout that Tech has used today with 6 minutes and change remaining in the third quarter.
It's the way the grass bends, or the way the sun paints the sky. But more than likely, it's the smell of the kitchen at the end of the day. Us out of bed to do it all over. Gold-Kissed Farms chicken. Nothing's fresher than getting it from a farmer.
For 75 years, Napa has led the way in the automotive. Keep up, but nobody offers more parts or better service for your vehicle than Napa. So for the best parts, the best service, and the best price for automotive, marine, heavy-duty, or agricultural needs, come to Napa. Napa Auto Parts. We've kept America running for 75 years.
We keep America running.
See Rick Strom here on the sideline. He's talking to Chip Wisdom there, and of course, Chip was an all-SEC linebacker at Georgia. He's used to having the red shirt on. Been with Georgia Tech for 2 years as a running back coach.
You know what Chip said before the game? He said the reason it's important to him, among others, that Tech beat Georgia is he doesn't have to get all the phone calls from his old Georgia alum buddies going woof, 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 woof. There you see 6 minutes, 99 seconds remaining in the third quarter. The reason they haven't started is they can't get that clock.
They must have the offensive coordinators around the clock.
6:99. Normally 7, but today for you only 6:99. And there you see the mascots. That's the injured mascot. You see the cast on the leg of Uga 4. He went down early in the year when the rash of injuries was hitting Georgia before Otto. And Uga knows how big this game was, and he volunteered to come back and play even though he's injured.
Chip Wisdom's not the only former Georgia player that's coaching for Georgia Tech. Is to see where we're going to be on New Year's Eve. The Hoosiers of Indiana, resurgence of football prowess.
Florida State taking on Florida down in Tallahassee. Florida State beat Florida in basketball last night. By the way, I was watching some basketball preparing for the game and saw that last year's #1 team, Louisville, was upset by Northeastern in the Great Alaska Shootout. Basketball getting started. Matter of fact, earlier you may have seen, if you were watching a game of the first half, Georgia Tech fans over there holding up Yellow Jacket signs over in an from basketball, referring to the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets and Bobby Crimmins. Of course, they're 6th ranked in the nation going into the basketball season, and they beat Stanford last night in the Richmond by 2 points.
What a job Homer Rice, the athletic director at Georgia Tech, has done. ACC champions in baseball. Of course, their basketball program speaks for himself. For itself, a 9-2 All-American last year in football.
Wanted to take just one more second to offer our sympathies to the families of Jim Luck and Bingo Goss, the 2 Tech folks who were killed in the tragic auto accident last night. Jim Luck, assistant athletic director, Gary Goss with the security. Our hearts are with those families. On the first down, Strom. 3. Georgia plays that well. Brantley's there. Little is there. John Little named to the Walter Camp Foundation All-American team, number 19 at the safety position for Georgia this year. He's playing banged up with a thigh and I think an elbow or an ankle or something else. But as I told you earlier, Tim, this time of year everybody's got an ankle or an elbow or something.
Exactly.
Second down 8. Clock down to 5:58 from the 39. Strom under pressure. Down he goes inside Tech territory. It was Calvin Ruff, speaking of injuries, coming off the sick bed. He had a sore knee to make that sack.
5 defensive backs in the game for Georgia. And here comes Ruff. Unblocked, totally unblocked. Someone missed there.
Big loss brings it to 3rd and 20 now for Tech. There were 12 yards lost on that play, just inside their own territory there at the midfield stripe. Gary Lee splits wide to the left side. Richard Hills to the right. Strom is going to throw. Georgia defending, not blitzing. It is complete. Short of the at the 38-yard line. At the 30, that's where the mark. Crisp makes the reception. What Georgia Tech do at this spot on the field. They're going to attempt a field goal here. It'll be a long one. See, the 38 will make it a 55-yard field goal attempt by David Bell.
Now, they faked the field goal against Clemson earlier in the year. They scored a touchdown, but they had an illegal receiver.
Daryl Gass for 12. Tech's backup and sometimes starting quarterback. Bell only 10 of 19. He kicks it. He's got plenty of stuff on it. It's good. Dave Bell, 55. 21-17. 5 chaining in the 3rd quarter. This is super fun.
For 75 years, Napa has led the way in the automotive parts business. Others have tried to keep up, but nobody offers more parts or better service for your vehicle than Napa. So for the best parts, best service, and the best price for automotive, marine, heavy-duty, or agricultural needs, come to Napa. Napa Auto Parts. We've kept America running for 75 years.
We keep America running.
I'm always coming up with great new promotions for 7-Up. Like this one. I ask people to send me pictures of their cans. Let's take a look. Oh! Look like 2 big Christmas hams. It shows you can. Look at the backyard on this fella. That about ends the first annual 7-Up Show Us Your Can contest. Next time I'll be more specific. Mom?
Well, with just under 5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter, David Bell hit the 55-yarder. He had earlier had a 55-yarder, so that tied his best effort of the year. And he's been in a slump. He's not had a good year. He's only 10 for 19.
As a matter of fact, I would think that Terry would even expose himself to criticism for him at the 55-yarder, but he hit it right on the nose.
Dave grew up near the University of Georgia, Clark High School. He's got a very strong.
Giles on the phone there.
So it's 21-17, 4-point Bulldog lead. With 4 minutes, 59 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. Georgia Tech only drove thanks to the 12-yard sack. That's why they really had to go for the field goal. Calvin Ruff made the big play. Bell with the kickoff. Nate Lewis to the 24.
You know, folks might be wondering what they talk to the coaches about when they're on the phones there, and one of the things that sometimes a player doesn't know really what the blocking scheme is that he's getting locked into. Sometimes, as you watch Mac McWhorter talk to his offensive line, they're not sure exactly what the defense is doing. Sometimes the coaches will ask them what's going on, as you see Don Lindsay there, second from the left on your screen, making the defensive calls for the Georgia Tech defense. But they trade information back and forth. And that's a valuable part of a football game, of a coach's job. And that's why you see Don Lindsay up in the booth this year as opposed to all the years he spent on the field as a defensive coordinator with Southern Cal and with Arkansas. He just felt like this was such a new defense and there were so many things going on the field that he needed to see. And he didn't have time to get all that information.
There's the official talking. Bill Curry, there's a continuing clock problem here today. That referee daily clock It'll go down to 4 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever said, and all of a sudden, whatever the seconds are, will shoot up to say 99, and of course there's a problem with it. Bill Curry was saying, sure, it's 7:50, and he's probably saying it's just another bulldog.
Right, yeah. Going to be a long afternoon. The score is 88 to
87. It's really tough game. That's the scoreboard far end of the field.
Shot operation.
Our producer Skip Ellis questioned whether maybe the tech engineer would point out that Skip is, by the way, doing a good job producing today. He does have his number down there.
See Bill Lewis there. Bill coached at Arkansas back in 73 through 76. He coached at Georgia Tech in 71 and 73. He was a head coach at Wyoming. And what he's drawing up is a particular formation.
Over here side by side. 81 and 40 are here. Right? If there's a tight end there, then back yourself up. No tight end, then be in position. And remember, that guy's coming to block you on the counter-track option.
There you go. Do we have that?
Any questions? Anybody got problems with anything? We got to play hard.
No, I thought that...
Were we listening to Bill Lewis there? We couldn't hear in the booth. Maybe you folks at home were listening to Bill Lewis.
Good.
Maybe someone could call us and tell him what he said. 4:53 to go in the third quarter. 4-point lead here for Georgia. We weren't sure of the reason Tim and I were sounding a little confused there. That was Bill Lewis talking to his defense. 1st and 10 from the 24-yard line. James Jackson on the option. Fumble! Georgia Tech recovers at the 20-yard line. They're all the 30. What a tremendously big turnover.
The option is set up perfect. Here comes Jackson optioning on contained man Andre Thomas. The pitch didn't look that. Didn't have a good shot of it, but it looked like it was catchable. Henderson not able to make. Andre Thomas comes.
Kelsey and Mays in the backfield for Tech. Pearson in motion. Pump fake. It's complete to Kelsey. Out of bounds at the 20-yard line. Gain about 5 or 6 yards on that one. Strom pumped to the left, through to the right to Kelsey. Gets the ball to near the 25 and out of bounds. Clipping against Tech. Big mark-off. Lead balls have been made more than normal, more than we usually see in this game today.
The last time they ran that play, Bob, was in the first quarter, and it was set up well then. They had a holding on that one. Now they're going back 15 yards for clipping.
As you often say, here, let's see if we see it. As you often say, there's that zone down there where it's legal, so to speak.
Boom. Good fake, good fake. Sucks the defense over to the right. Now they're trying to hit it back this way. And
that's probably the clip right there. That's what they're calling. Block from behind.
You know me, I don't like penalties in general.
That was Eric Bearden making the block. That was called a clip. We think that's it. From the 39-yard line now, following the fumble recovery. Tech with a 1st and 23. Chubb with the stop of Strom on the quarterback draw. Got 3 yards. They're down here in David Bell 55-yard field goal range, but they trail by 4.
Reminds me of a personal contact that I had with Bill Curry when I was playing for the Dolphins. He was the center with the Colts. They ran a flanker reverse and he tried to block me, and just about when he got to me, I did what any brave young American would do. I turned my back on him. They got called 15 yards and clip it, so it's the same kind of thing.
The scoreboard clock is totally out. We're not sure how much time remains in this quarter. Strom, enough time for sure. Chubb gets his first sack. Georgia took over the ball at the 26, and they're now all the way back to the 46-yard line.
Georgia drops back into a 2-deep zone. Beasley game now. They got 4 defensive backs in there. Just no one for Rick Strom. Jump takes him down.
So they spotted at the 46-yard line. Will be 3rd down. down 30.
As a matter of fact, Aaron Chubb isn't going to get quite as much playing time in this game, I don't feel. They felt he's a little bit light. They want to use Lovelace on the other side, but Lovelace was injured, and Chubb's responding well.
The 25-second clock winds down to 0. Delay of the game against Tech. I might say that clocks are playing a big part in this game. The scoreboard clock is totally malfunctioning. The 25-second clock, however, is running and did run down to 25. Now we understand there's 2 minutes 50 seconds to go in the third quarter. We'll just try to keep up with it as best we can. The time being kept by a sideline official. Hills and Lee split wide to the left. It is third down and forever. Third and 37. Three-man Georgia rush. Strom in the pocket. Look for Mannion, could find nobody. Tech will have to give it up. So the turnover by Georgia at their own 26-yard line turns into a significant offensive play as Georgia gets 27 yards of Tech turf on the Tech possession. Thanks to clipping, thanks to a sack, thanks to delay of game. Now evident Lane goes into
but most important, George comes away from that turnover with no points.
Wobbly punt by Governor. Takes a Georgia bounce way back upfield. So Georgia ends up with about an 8-yard, 7-yard gain on the turnover in terms of net yardage.
Plus an emotional Georgia. Basically, they felt like they were in trouble and they escaped unscathed. That's really a winning confrontation, a winning exchange, as you pointed out.
That was merely 18-yard punt. Not the right time to get the short punt. First down 10, Bulldogs from their own 33. Now they're going to start running the ball. Tackles it. The Yellow Jackets have the ball. The second consecutive offensive play from scrimmage for the Bulldogs, and they've coughed it up. It was Tate. Shane Curry, 44, came up with it.
Good double team by Stevens and Johnson, and the ball just slides out. Did Porter knock it out?
With his foot, possibly. Porter's foot was up high. Curry recovers it. John Porter, number 45, had his foot up high after he'd been knocked down, and that's really possible that it knocked it out of the grasp. It's first down Tech from the 36. What a crazy game, but then these matchups always are. Tech runs it with Kelsey. 1 yard, no more.
See if we can see this again. Porter comes up, try to stuff the block. McCluskey takes him out.
Porter's foot raked it out.
Porter's foot rakes it out. There's no question about it.
That's a freakish play.
And Tate was on his way.
Second down 9 from the 5. Strom on the option. Pitch to Collier. Has a little running room, but he's down at the 30. He'll be about 4 yards short of the first down. On Little. Down for Georgia Tech. The score, Georgia 21, Tech 17. We have just seconds remaining in the third quarter. We're going to pause 5 seconds. Our local speak to identify themselves.
You're watching Superstation WTBS, Atlanta.
Not sure exactly how much time left in the third quarter. Scoreboard clocks are out, but it's probably down around a minute or less. Third and 4, Tech at the 30. Strom hits his man Mays. First down. Mays to the 15-yard line. Great second effort by Jerry Mays. A gain of 15 yards on the play.
John Little and Gary Moss were double teaming Gary Lee in the secondary.
Clock stops at 1:30 remaining in the third quarter.
It looks like there's a mix-up in the coverage. One of the linebackers has got to be out there covering him because Gary Moss was back on Gary Lee. Little wraps him up. Jerry Mays almost popped it all away.
21-17 Georgia Tech on the drive following their second consecutive fumble recovery. Mays to about the 12. Hurtling into the red-clad Bulldogs.
They put it all on the line. At this particular time, probably the most emotional game of the year for most teams. You see Paul Giles.
He's slow to get up. Remember, Wycliffe Lovelace went out injured early in the game with stretched ligaments and hasn't returned. Now Giles limping a little bit. Tyrone McClendon has gone in there, number 99. Hope that young man will be okay. Giles is a sophomore from Monroe, Georgia.
And there was a time back in the early 50s where Georgia Tech had defeated Georgia 8 times in a row. And at Georgia, they've retired 3 jerseys. Frank Sinkwich, Charlie Trippi, Herschel Walker, and a young Sapp scored the touchdown that ended the drought of victories over Georgia Tech. And that's how important it is here.
Strom. Oh, nailed by 40. Senior Steve Boswell, the player of the week against Auburn with 15 tackles. This man rises to the occasion in the big games. He plays well all the time. He really gets riled up when he plays Auburn.
It's going to be his last go against Georgia Tech. National day for players on the field.
Third down, 9 from the 15. Yellow Jackets trail 17. Closing seconds of the third quarter. Strom. Complete to Lee. Touchdown, second effort. What strength from Lee.
Play by Gary Lee. Once again, you talk about frustration from a defensive standpoint. They're double teaming Gary Lee. Will Jones back out there underneath. Gary Lee goes down, breaks it to the outside, and as both Georgia players make contact, he drives it into the end zone. He had 2 touchdown catches in '84 against Georgia. Last year, he had the 95-yard kickoff return. Wow.
Point after by Bell is good. It is 26-21. Yellow Jackets, closing moments of the third quarter.
One place you shouldn't be able to throw this ball is to Gary Lee. Will Jones sitting on the outside. Gary Moss in good position. Gave him a little bit too much room. They're both there to make the tackle, and look at that. That's determination, folks.
This is interesting. Gary Lee and Lars Tate. Gary Lee, the wide receiver that we talked about being so effective. Excuse me, the score should be 24. The scoreboard had said 26. Of course it's 24. It was 21-17. So that is the correct score. 24-21 Georgia Tech. Gary Lee, we said when we came into the ball game, was going to be the major concern of the Georgia defensive coaches. He has 4 catches for 122 yards and 1 touchdown. Lars Tate, we said, would be concern of the Yellow Jackets, the tailback in Georgia's running game. He has 120 yards, almost matched nose to nose, and 2 touchdowns. What a matchup, the tailback and the wide.
And that's the great thing. Understand the thing that got them in that particular situation was the tailback throwing the ball for Georgia, and now Georgia Tech coming back and being able to take advantage of that.
Georgia Tech got 2 turnovers from Georgia. One of them Georgia's, and Tech's inefficiency in terms of penalties rocked them all the way back, and Georgia Tech came away with nothing. And then Tate coughed it up on a real freak play when the foot of John Porter raked it loose from him as he ran through the line, expecting something like that, of course. We have 11 seconds to go, third quarter. Gary Lee, what a day he's had. The senior from Albany. Every time he's touched the ball this year, prior to this game, he has gained 16 yards on the average. 4 catches for 122. That average has gone up today. He was the star last year in Tech's win over Georgia. Lane has one. Out to the 40, Freddie Lane. What a ball game. The Jackets and the Bulldogs. 35 yards. This is like a couple of heavyweights. One of them will knock the other one into the ropes, and then the other one punches the other one into the ropes. Clock down to 4 seconds in the quarter. Georgia will have time for probably just 1 play. The scoreboard clocks are all out. here at Sanford Stadium, which is why we're a little bit vague on the amount of time. Now they say they started the clock after they set it. The 4 seconds tick down. That is the end of the third quarter, with Georgia Tech leading 24-21.
When you're selling soft drinks, the most important thing is getting them on the shelf. So how do I find room for a great tasting drink like 7-Up? Oh, the answer is easy. Can I get a mop on aisle 6, please? Thank you.
Friday, December 1st, 12 o'clock noon, the Hyatt Regency Atlanta. 2 men, 2 opposing leaders will sit down for one final civilized discussion. Join ESPN's Ron Franklin hosting the 2 men whose teams will battle it out for this year's SEC football crown. It's the Hyatt Regency Atlanta SEC Championship Coaches Luncheon. For tickets, call 1-800-732-4849 or order online at secsports.com. Don't miss the last word.
Opening play now, the fourth quarter. Georgia Tech leading 24-21. Ricardo Ingram, Tech's leading tackler, and free safety is not in the ballgame. Anthony Harrison is. He's been moving his neck around on the sideline. We don't know exactly what's wrong with Tim.
Whenever you're a weak free safety and you're the leading tackler, you'll be moving your neck around.
Tech's defense. Lars Tate for no gain. Today's game was Beechwood Age for that distinctively clean, crisp taste that makes Budweiser the king of beers. This Bud, now Ingram returns to the game and Harrison goes out. Shaken up in the final play, or the second to the final play of the first play here in the second half. Second down, a little more than 10. Porter after Jackson, throwing on the run incomplete. He was looking for Tate. Let's go back to our studios and Kevin Slade.
All right, the news conference we've been promising you in Austin has just concluded. Athletic Director DeLoss Dodds of Texas has fired Fred Akers as the head football coach. He has been reassigned in the athletic department for the remaining 5 years he has left on his contract. Akers is out as head coach. Another note, one of his assistants resigned last week saying the academic problems down there are rampant. Let's go.
Well, big news from Texas. Thank you, Kevin. Here we're in the opening moments of the fourth quarter for Georgia. 3rd down and 10. Jackson completes a big one to the 41-yard line to Cassius Osborne. Being covered by Ingram, a 19-yard completion. Let's watch 47 Ingram on display.
Good protection by the Georgia offensive line. You see Cassius Osborne at the top of your picture. Jackson looks him off and then fires it into that open area. Ingram more or less was operating as a free agent in the middle of the field. He plays the ball. They give him that kind of flexibility.
1st down 10. Bulldog from the 41-yard line. Jackson again. Here's pressure. And it's complete to Tate, but of course he goes down at the reception at the 46 for a loss of about 5 yards. Excellent pressure from Ambrose right up on Jackson.
Talk about bad break for Georgia. That was one of the best setup screens. That was nothing white in terms of jerseys close to that ball. It happened right in front of Bill Curry. I mean, his heart rate automatically doubled when he saw that. But Tate went down to his knee.
Now 2nd down about 15 for 6 yards. Bulldogs trailing 24-21 before Tate running. He got the 1st down to the 20-yard line. Goes Lars Tate. 2 touchdowns today. He's gained 136 yards.
Almost a play that you would expect in a situation. Porter can't clear himself with a blocker. Scott Adams downfield to help out. Nice run by Lars Tate. comes to the sideline.
Osborne and Sadowski to the right side. John Thomas to the left side on first down 10 from the 29. It's Henderson and McCluskey in the backfield for Georgia. McCluskey driving to the 23-yard line. What a classic matchup today. The Tech passing game versus the Georgia running game.
Let's watch the blocking again. You've got number 61, Keith Johnson in there. Turns out Kyle Ambrose, and the hole opens up. Keith Johnson is another full pair of shoes. He's over 300 pounds, too.
We have about 15 pounds between two centers on these two teams. Second down 4. Henderson, first down, inside the 2, about the 18. With the stop for the Yellow Jackets. Watch Johnson, 61, 310 pounds.
There's nothing at the athletic department that can win. You got to take him to that school, put him on the scale. His value there is to cut off the pursuit, create a lane. 341 big ones.
Well, he listed him at 310 in the book. He's up to 341. That's McCluskey to the 15. McCluskey, just a little guy at 6'1", 225 from Rome, highly recruited out of high school, and he's come here in the shadow. Of course, whenever you come to the University of Georgia and don't play tailback and play fullback, you're a very valuable player, but not always in the spotlight. McCluskey, however, has been an exceptional fullback, has played tailback on occasion here. Second down 6, Bulldogs. Driving, trailing 24-21. We're early in the fourth quarter. Henderson to the 8-yard line. Penalty marker down in the Georgia Tech defensive backfield. Tackle was made by 23 Willis Crockett. Rod Daly, the referee. Holding Georgia. Big call against the Bulldogs.
The unfortunate thing, I think it was back away from the call. I don't think it was an integral part of the play.
Back to the 20-yard line.
That's Ray Sherman with the headset on. Ray.
On the offense. Second down would be.
Ray's coaching the receivers here. He's a former Purdue assistant.
Second down 11. Back to the 20-yard line now. Georgia trailing by 3, 24-21. Osborne, Sadowski split to the left side. John Thomas to the right side. Lars Tate hit in the backfield. Number 44, Shane Curry, the freshman from Cincinnati, Ohio, with a stop. He's a true freshman, too. 6'4", 220, just a child. A child, not in terms of size.
Right. Yeah. You got Shane Curry, Sean Smith, Steve Mullen. Who else in there? Willie Burks. I think that this crowd at Sanford may have the effect of bringing the best out in a player as opposed to intimidating. You know, you get in front of all these people, all that adrenaline flow.
Biggest crowd Tech's in front of this year. James Jackson on third down 14. Plenty of time. Incomplete. He wanted to get Lars Tate. So Georgia stalls at the 23-yard line. That'll bring up about a 40-yard field goal attempt by Steve Crumley. Crumley also had been in a slump, but he's come back pretty strong from that slump. As a matter of fact, in Auburn, he kicked 2 very important field goals, a 31-yarder and a 26-yarder, the Bulldog upset. Prior to that, he was 4 out of 5 in the Georgia game, in the Florida game.
And compared to Kevin Butler, anybody would seem like they've been having a slump, what they're used to here at Georgia.
Hits this one well. It's good. This game's tied. 24-24. We're in the fourth quarter. The scoreboard clock is out. We have probably about 12 or 13 minutes remaining in the game. We'll check with the sideline to give you an official reading. This is Super Football Saturday on TNT.
We keep America running.
For 75 years, Napa has led the way in the automotive parts business. Others have tried to keep up, but nobody offers more parts or better service for your vehicle than Napa. So for the best parts, best service, and the best price for automotive, marine, heavy-duty, or agricultural needs, come to Napa. Napa Auto Parts. We've got America running for 75 years.
We keep America running.
Team Fast X, Motor Sphere, and stunts his passing Charger. Golden Flakes Ultimate NASCAR Racers Getaway is underway. Look for entry forms and bags of Flake Cheese Puffs. Fly grand prize winner and 3 friends to LA for a tour of the Fox Kids Network. Vaughn Animation Studios, home of NASCAR racers. Hundreds of other cool prizes too. Enter Golden Flakes Ultimate NASCAR Racers Getaway today.
So this game is tied 24-24. We have some amount of time remaining in the fourth quarter. We're in the first third of the fourth quarter, roughly. Scoreboard clock out. Here's the scoring summary. Hope that was after a 45-yard pass to Lee to set it up. Then Georgia tied it all on the ground. Tate took it in. Then Georgia Tech went ahead after a 55-yard pass to Lee. Mays ran it in from 5 to take the lead. Georgia came back right at the end of the half on a 20-yard TD reception by Nate Lewis from James Jackson. Then in the third quarter, Georgia took the lead on an 8-yard run by Tate. Georgia Tech came back to pull to within 4 on a 55-yarder by Bell. Then Georgia Tech took the lead on Gary Lee's reception and second effort touchdown, 24-21. And now here in the fourth, Georgia's tied it on the 39-yard field goal by Steve Crumley. What a ball game. The 81st meeting between the Bulldogs and the Yellow Jackets. Out of bounds, they'll kick it again, and they'll move it back. And let's watch that field goal attempt again. Tim, you had a point to make.
Yeah, sometimes as a coach, it's not the things that happen, but the things you worry about happening later in the concern you. Watch number 86, Paul Jurgensen, working against 51 from Georgia. He got the same look on the line. It's not a factor here, but if Jurgensen gets his hands up, he's taking that center back. He's got penetration, and if he'd have gotten his hands up, he had hands up to block it. And who knows, that could be a factor in the game. But after the extra point, Joe Wallace got a hold number 51. Jeff Smith said, "Hey, son, you got to hold your ground here. You can't let them do that to you." And I know his response was, "I'm trying to hold my ground."
Back to the 30, Crumley kicks it. This saw the setup there. Nice shot by John Bishop. Here's Gary Lee out of bounds on the 34-yard line. Boy, Easter with the kickoff, by the way, kicking off when Georgia likes to squib kick it previously and did it again on this one. Esther, the freshman quarterback for Georgia. Gary Lee, what a day he's had. 45-yarder and the 55-yarders both set up touchdowns on the following plays. And then he caught that 14-yard touchdown on a third down call in the third quarter. And he caught it at about the 2 and forced his way over Gary Moss into the end zone. On the first down, Gary Collier. What a great defensive surge by Georgia. Little with the tackle, but they just strung that play out all the way across the line.
Vince Guthrie couldn't have played that any better. To make that play go to the outside, Robert Massey, number 81 for Georgia Tech, has got to get the hook block. He's got to get his body and his head around that linebacker. Guthrie just rode him all the way down, ready to go either way. That's the kind of plays that Bill Lewis is looking for.
All right, now the scoreboard clock tells me there's 10 minutes and 10 seconds to go in this ball game. I don't believe it because it's been malfunctioning today, but it's something like that in the fourth quarter. Strong. Oh, his man open. Looked for Collier, but just couldn't find him. So it'll be third down 10, and now field position starting to become significant in the game. And we might to you that Sean McDevitt, the Georgia Tech punter, has been struggling today, averaging 32 yards a punt, including a short one of 18. Has a weapon in Chris Carter, averaging 45 today. So position teams get in kind of could become significant.
Rusty B's in football game, but
9:45 to go. Third down 10 from the 34. Strom got good blocking, throwing on the run, has his man. Yes, he was in bounds inside Georgia territory. Richard Hills for 17 yards, and that was Hills' first catch of the day.
Good block by Corey Collier. Watch this. It looked like Chubb coming from the backside. He would have had him for sure. Collier reacted, got him down on the ground. Nice touch by Rich. Strom threw it up over the top. Right in time by Richard Hills.
Strom has thrown for 215 yards on the day. Big third down conversions. One for a touchdown a little while ago, and then that big third down play. Here's Collier, second effort to the 46. Little Corey Collier, 5'7", was hit in the backfield. The senior made it all the way to the 46-yard line. Corey Collier's only 5'7", but he weighs 185. As Tim told you, these guys are short, but they are not small.
Yeah, right, and tremendous balance. And they have they can explode. They have the ability to explode through a tackle. You can't just tackle them with your arms.
So now that field position we were talking about comes into play as Tech is inside Georgia territory. Tie game, 24-24. Strom, excellent play faking. Plenty of time. Incomplete. Threw it into the teeth of the coverage. Wanted to get it to Massey. Dangerous pass. In a way, the Yellow Jackets were fortunate there.
Two things happen on that play, Bob. We're going to watch Gary Lee. Gary Lee gets jammed. He's supposed to clear this out, but as we said, Bill Lewis would get somebody in his face, and he does in the form of Will Jones. As a result, that area is not cleared out, and Massey's coming over into it, and Terry Webster also did a nice job covering underneath. Didn't let Strom throw the ball any earlier.
Georgia Tech only 4 out of 10 on third down conversions, but they've had some big ones. This is another. 3rd and 6. Movement on the line defensively. No flag. Strom throwing on the run. Incomplete. A big hit by Gary Moss. He just nailed Hills. And the Bulldog defense holds.
Big play by the Bulldog defense. Hills makes the catch. And it would have been a completion because he would have been forced out of bounds. They'd have called it complete, but Gary Moss gets his helmet right on the ball, and out it pops.
Now the young walk-on punter from Tech, Sean Devitt, under pressure. He did punt one down at the 10-yard line earlier. Let's see how he does here. It's a good one. It's going to be fair caught inside the 15 at the 14 by Lane. So McDevitt gets his job done, even though it was a short kick. He got it inside the 20. Punt of 32 yards, and now University of Georgia 85 yards plus away from the end zone.
Blue Cross has been an institution, so to speak, in Alabama.
The Blue Cross lets the physician make the decision.
Right. I take care of children who may have many different problems. They never really worry about, with Blue Cross, who I'm going to send them to.
It's a partnership between Blue Cross, the hospital, and the physician.
Blue Cross does what we want, and that's provide the best quality care efficiently and do what we've been trained to do and take care of patients.
East and West will battle in Atlanta for the SEC Championship, but that's not the only big show set to hit this town. The Dr. Pepper SEC Fanfare. From football to golf to the Chick-fil-A SEC TV experience produced by Fox Sports Net, it's 240,000 square feet of interactive fun at the Georgia World Congress Center December 1st and 2nd. $8 gets you in the door, and discount coupons are available. For details, SECsports.com. We're all about fun and games at the Dr. Pepper SEC Fanfare.
Nice one.
8 minutes, 50 seconds. That is correct, the amount of time. The scoreboard clock malfunctioning. 20-24 the score. Georgia ball inside the 15. First down and 10. Play fake to Henderson. James Jackson wide open. Now he throws to Henderson. He has blockers. To the 35-yard line. Gain of 12. Jay Martin with the stop for Georgia Tech. Play fake and then caught the ball.
Well, George Hafner, the play caller for State, worked before but fell down. Let's try it again. This time they do it back into the sideline. Jackson rolls to the wide side and it opens up. We have a block there. Burrows leading the way.
First down, Georgia. Here comes Henderson. Running hard with authority to the 43-yard line. About 7 or 8 yards on the carry. Rod Stevens with the tackle. And Henderson has gone over 100. He has 15 carries, 101 yards. Tate has 133.
We'll watch the left side here now. Mac Burrows, 79. Victor Perry, number 77.
About 8 minutes to go in the game.
Tries to get a handle on him. Stevens finally makes a tackle.
Here comes Henderson. Broke a tackle and gets to the 49-yard line. First down, Bulldogs. Now the crowd becoming a factor here at Sanford Stadium.
I see John Guy in the yellow sweater with his hand up in the air. Defensive line coach making the call. John Porter gets the call to the players, and they break the huddle.
On a first down 10 from the 49. Bulldogs tie game 24-24. McCluskey tackles. First down to the 31. Stallworth with the stop. And this Georgia running game, 20 yards on that pop. And Georgia 293 yards on the ground.
Going to see number 45 heads up field, can't regain his footing to get any momentum back into that grab. John trying to block Willis Crockett. Stallworth this out.
Start thinking that the team with the ball win. Lars Tate in the backfield for the Bulldogs. First down. Tate behind Berry. Block. Tate dives inside the 25. 260 pounds Berry onto the 200 pounds of Thomas Rutland was out there too.
Nice job by Sadowski. Rutland figure out who's going to go. He gets forced to the outside by the blocks by Hiawatha Berry.
Berry got Thomas and Rutland on that block. Look at the rushing yardage. My, oh my. Second down 3 from the 24. Tie game. Less than 8 minutes. Berry. He doesn't get the first down. They give it to Hiawatha. He takes his 260 pounds right into the 240 pounds of John Porter. This right inside linebacker, the redshirt freshman John Porter, number 45 for Georgia Tech, you see in the center of your screen, is going to be a tremendous collegiate linebacker. And he's already a good player. He's just a freshman.
Well, he's certainly not short on confidence. And an interception for a touchdown against Duke.
Henderson and Berry remain in the backfield. 6:15 to go in this game. It will be third down, short yardage. Georgia Tech calls timeout. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Georgia Tech, the scoreboard is out. The reason I sound unsure here, I believe Georgia Tech has only one timeout remaining in this game. This is Super Football Saturday on TNT.
When you're selling soft drinks, the most important thing is getting them on the shelf. So how do I find room for a great tasting drink like 7-Up? Oh, the answer is easy. Can I get a mop on aisle 6, please? Thank you.
Nathan, what is taking you so long?
Give me a second, would you, Mom?
Come on, hurry up. I have a hair appointment at 2, and now he can't have children. Nathan, make sure it's not too restrictive. Come on, let me see how my Snooki looks.
I look stupid.
You do look stupid.
Get a plan that's right for you, such as 1,250 minutes for $35 a month. We also feature Ericsson digital phones. Now at your local Bell South Ability store.
Talk about you talk about James Jackson giving them another option too.
Emotional year for Ben Stewart. Through injuries, through ups and downs, and rolling those dice. Take it in there, James.
We needed 3 yards, and Vince got about 4. James Jackson shaking up on that top of the ball game, and Wayne Johnson is in there.
I think it was Porter that got a piece of him.
They're looking at his left elbow. So Wayne Johnson went back in the ball game. Johnson started. Jackson came in and sparked the Georgia team offensively. See if we can see what happened. Game's tied at 24.
Takes it upfield. There's 45, John Porter hitting him. See if anything else happens as it develops in slow motion.
Looks like he may have fallen on the helmet of a player already down. Jackson on the sideline. He's out for one play. I have a feeling he'll go back in. It is first down Georgia from the 19-yard line of the Yellow Jackets. It's tied at 24, and the clock says there's 5 minutes, 38 seconds remaining in the game. That's pretty close to accurate. It's malfunctioned in the second half. Georgia, 400 yards total offense today.
Most of the Georgia Tech sympathizers, patrons, are down at the other end of the field, Bob, and here's where you really have to come together as a team, and that's one thing that Bill Curry always preaches about. He preaches about the family. You know, you develop this football team into a family, and the good of the individual has to become secondary to the good of the unit.
There's the official timeouts remaining. 2 for Georgia, 1 for Tech. First down, Georgia. Henderson stopped after a gain of about 1. Clock will run now. Tied at 24. Obviously, it's a little tougher to run down inside here. The secondary does not have the yardage to defend that they usually do. Jackson has gone back into the game. Banged his left elbow. Seems to be okay. Johnson comes out of there. Second down 9. Henderson, big hole. To the 5. Ball came loose after Henderson went down. Henderson lost the ball when he hit the ground. It is not a fumble. It remains in the possession of the Bulldogs. It is first and goal.
Great block by McCluskey. Andre Thomas just misses. Unblocked and missed. Willis Crockett hustles to get there to make the play. Keeps him out of the end zone.
Georgia got the ball with about 8:50 to go in the game. Clock is down near 5 minutes now, and Henderson has 120 on the ground. First and goal, Georgia. Tate. He's got it. Top scorer in the nation. He's up near the leaders now. Point after's good. 31-24 Bulldogs.
We'll see this again now from a couple different angles. This is the third play that Lars Tate has scored. Same play, same formation. They get the block. Willie Burks gets caught up inside. McCluskey tries to find Ingram. Willis Crockett loses containment there. Can't make the tackle. And number 75, Scott Adams, nice block. And same play, 3 different places. This time he takes it outside. First time as you watch back inside, and the second time he fouled his block. And it's been 2 years since Vince has beaten Georgia Tech, and you can bet he wants this game badly.
Vince has over 100 yards today. He has 2 backs with over 100. Tate has 145 and 3 touchdowns. Henderson 120 yards. And Vince Dooley, we just learned now officially, has 96 yards rushing over there on the sideline. 4 minutes, 38 seconds to go in this ball game. The 81st meeting between the Yellow Jackets and the Bulldogs. And this place is rocking and rolling today.
And it's far from over, Bob. Georgia had the worst pass defense in the SEC, and that was a combination of 2 things. First, injuries to the internal linemen left them devoid of a pass rush. And so they had to blitz to get there. They don't really have man-to-man coverage people in their secondary. They had to take chances that they normally wouldn't take, and they've got hurt with it this year.
Crumley with the kickoff. Gary Lee, he broke a big one last year. Out to the 33-yard line. Pretty good field position for the Yellow Jackets. So we have 4 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in this ball game. And for Stadium. we're just going to see Strom continue to put that ball in the air.
I think so. I think what you have to do on the Georgia Tech side of the ball is to just be patient. Be patient. 4 minutes at a time. You know, 50 seconds at this time of the game, a lot of time. So they be patient.
From the 33. Massey in motion. Handoff Mays. He is nailed at the 6.5-yard line. Jerry Mays hit by Aaron Chubb. He's played very well today. Number 28, the defensive right end for Georgia.
As Bill Curry looks on, he's got to be proud of the way his football team has played, regardless of the final outcome. Having to overcome the emotional experience that they went through yesterday, to come up with this kind of an effort in between the hedges is really something that I think he is very proud of his people about.
Gary Lee and Pearson both split to the left. Pearson goes in motion, comes into a screen at the bottom. 2nd down, 7. Strong screens left, complete to Collier. Excuse me, make it King to the 39-yard line. Gain of only 3 on the play. Malcolm King. And it'll bring up 3rd down and about 5. 3 minutes, 45 seconds remaining in the game. Georgia leading by 7, 31-24. Georgia Tech does not have good statistics on 3rd down conversions today. They are 4 of 11, but they have converted a couple of significant ones, one of them on 3rd down into a touchdown. And last time they had the ball, they made a big 3rd down conversion. Let's see what they do this time. Now they've moved the stick up a little further, so let's officially call it 3rd down 4. Rick Strom, the junior from Pittsburgh.
Noise at this time, Bob, obviously a factor that Georgia Tech has to contend with.
Hills in motion. Pressure on Strom. Completes the pass for the 1st down to the 45-yard line. Jerry Mays with the catch. Another significant conversion late in this ball game. Richard Tarditz was right in the face when he threw it. See Will Jones limping a little bit over there. There you go. 7-point lead, Georgia.
That's a good point, Bob. He blew right by Jesse Marion.
Now Tech with some breathing room at their own 45. Look at him. They can't find him. He's so little in there. The Bulldog defenders couldn't see him. Little 5'8" water bug squirts his way inside Georgia territory. Gain of about 7 on the play, 48-yard line.
He runs a lot bigger than 171 pounds, though. He takes up in there.
Tech has rushed for a total of 116 yards on the day, and Henderson has 120 for Georgia alone. He's their 2nd leading rusher. Will Jones comes out of there. It is 2nd down and a long 2. Davenport in motion. Mays driving close to the 1st down, but he didn't get there. Steve Boswell and a couple of other Bulldogs stop him. So it's going to be 3rd and inches, I believe, depending on the spot. Looks like it's just going to be maybe the length of the football and a little more. The clock is running. It's down to 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Georgia leading by 7.
Bill Curry been in these situations before. In Super Bowls and championship games. We saw them come back against Michigan State last year in Birmingham.
Mays did not get it. It is going to be about half the length of a football. 97 Giles, 42 Brantley on the stop for the Bulldogs.
They take Chubb out of there. He misses the hole a little bit. You know, Mays, if he would have hit it just a little bit outside, because Georgia slanted their line to the interior gaps and got collapsed a little bit.
It's not even that far. You see where the stick is. It's closer than that, because the ball is on the actual 45-yard line. Clock down to 1:40.
And it cost them, that lack of cost them a valuable 30 or 40.
All down to this for the Yellow Jackets. Here comes Mays.
that he could get the corner on. They didn't get the hook block, forcing Mays to come back inside. That's where he met John Rambo.
Let's have a look at it again. Watch 42.
When you prepare for a game like this, you plan for situations like this. Short yardage, where do you think we can get it? I'm sure he felt like Bill Lewis would be slanting his defense to the wide side. He wasn't. And there was just nowhere for Jerry Mays to go. Look at the Georgia players, all on their feet. Boswell gets cut down, but Brantley comes in there to cover for him.
1:08 to go in the ball game. First down, Georgia Tech has 1 timeout remaining. Georgia leads by 7. Tate driving to the 45-yard line, and Moore stalwart with the stop. And now timeout, Georgia Tech. That's the final Tech timeout of the ball game. Clock will be under a minute. Scoreboard clock went out here in the second half, but it's under a minute. We'll keep you posted. Georgia leads by 7.
East and West will battle in Atlanta for the SEC Championship, but that's not the only big show set to hit this town. Dr. Pepper SEC Fanfare. From football to golf, the Chick-fil-A SEC TV experience produced by Fox Sports Net. It's 240 square feet of at the Georgia World Congress Center December 1st and 2nd. $8 gets you in the door. It's available. For details, go to SECSports.com. We're all about fun and games at the Dr. Pepper SEC Fanfare.
Nice one. You know, Archie, thousands of people throughout the South choose Osmose pressure-treated pine from Great Southern Wood.
That's right, Jimmy. That yellow tag means it has a lifetime guarantee. Then it comes to you clean.
Exactly. Then whenever we sold a single T-shirt. I mean, these tags are good looking.
It's a disease, Jimmy. So remember, there is a difference. If it doesn't say Osmose on the yellow tag, believe me, you don't want it.
There's big John Davis, Tech's All-American center. I thought they might run behind him on that 4th down and inches. But they swept to the left, and Tim, as you say, you never know. 2nd down and 1, Georgia. 1 minute exactly to go in the game, and Georgia did run behind their center. James Jackson kept it and got the first down, and that was Tech's final timeout, so now Georgia has only to fall on the ball a couple of times, and this game will be over. Tech had won the last 2. Georgia leads in the series, 42-33 in 5. 40 seconds remaining in this ball game. Georgia Tech has run out of timeouts. What a fantastic game. Georgia's running game, Tech's passing game, and it's been a beauty today.
These fans ought to leave some money at the gate on the way out. They got more than their money's worth, that's for sure.
Georgia just falling on the ball. University of Georgia will lead today with 8 wins on the year. They will be 8-11. Head for the Hall of Fame Bowl against Boston College on December 23rd. For the Yellow Jackets, it won't be a happy afternoon. Not only have they lost this game and they were upset by Wake Forest last week, but the tragic auto accident yesterday. Losing assistant athletic director. It's been one of the best coaching jobs in the last decade by Vince Dooley because of the adversity he's had to overcome with injured players and with not the greatest team in terms of personnel that he's had here. But he's got 8 victories, 3 losses, and he's headed to the Hall of Fame Bowl. We'll be right back with final comments. This is Super Football Saturday on TNT.